Hey, 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 good evening, my beautiful butterflies and fly guys. Listen, I hope everyone has had a wonderful week thus far, and I hope you are ready to get into tonight's conversation. Now, I want to get right into our show, so without further ado, I want you guys to do me a favor, please, and tell Lottie Dottie and everybody that HeSpoke Fashion is on live. Are you ready, AB? All right, let's get it. Hit it. Yeah, in the building. Let's go. HeSpoke Fashion. All right. Again, thank you for joining us, and I'm glad that you've taken time out of your busy schedule to have this conversation. As I said in my opening monologue, I want to get right into our discussion. Now, as many of you may know, former NFL superstar wide receiver Steve Smith Sr., that's right, not to be confused with Stephen A. Smith. All right, we don't want to confuse the two, but has recently found himself embroiled in a scandal involving allegations of an affair, guys, get this, of course, with another man's wife. Now, although that's a popular story, tonight's discussion will not center on the affair itself. Instead, we will focus on the perspectives shared by the popular nightcap show hosts Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ochocinco Johnson regarding the alleged incidents. We're going to talk about that. Now, this conversation, in my humble opinion, offers valuable insights into the dynamics between, get this guys, celebrity black men and the average black man in a topic discussion entitled, you guys see it, Shannon Sharpe and Ochocinco's perspectives on the Steve Smith Sr. incident sparks a heated debate. And guys, that debate is simply between superstar athletes versus the average black man. And you guys gotta wait to see what I'm talking about when I say the average black man. But before we proceed, AB, could you please share our disclaimer with our audience? Because we have to ensure we are on safe ground. Guys, you see the disclaimer. Thank you, AB. Thank you. Thank you. Now, let us delve into the background relevant to our discussion. So, in Sunday's episode of Nightcap, Shannon Sharpe and his co-host, Chad Ochocinco Johnson, reviewed a video that allegedly features a man named Tony Martinez, who contacted Smith to inform him that he was, in fact, aware of the affair. Now, guys, the voice on the other end, presumably belonging to Smith, simply expresses, expresses his remorse by stating that, guys, he said he was sorry. So let's take a moment, guys, to view this now viral video clip, shall we? Let's roll.
Hey, yo, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you've been fucking my wife, bro. What you gotta say for yourself?
I'm sorry.
You're sorry? You fucking knew she was married. You're not a fucking idiot, man. You're fucking Steve Smith Sr. What kind of dumb shit was that? Why are you quiet, man? Be a fucking man. Steve.
All right, guys, you've seen that video clip, and I'm telling you, this new verbiage with bro, everybody's your bro. But allegedly, the husband shared this message from his wife's social media as well. And it reads, let's take a look here. This message It reads, "Hi, I am Nicole Martinez, though I won't be a Martinez much longer. You see, I have been cheating on my husband, and I have been doing so with very famous Steve Smith Sr. Pics attached for reference. I had him hidden under 3, but that's been fixed. My husband bought me a house. He stood by my side after I had been arrested twice for domestic violence. And this is how I repay him and our son." There's plenty of messages here, Steve. Crazy the kind of revealing messages a celebrity will send. Baltimore Ravens, I'm also a member of your team band. I believe I violated some fraternization rules by hooking up with Steve at the training facility. Now, guys, you can definitely hear the hurt in his words. And as you see, he tagged the Baltimore Ravens, ESPN, TMZ, the Carolina Panthers. And here's one, guys, I wasn't expecting. Do you know who it was? Do you know? That's right, you saw it. Antonio Brown. Yes, Antonio Brown. Well, listen.
Stop the cap.
No, for real. Antonio Brown. Now, at least even in Spain, the husband still appears to have his great sense of humor. Now, did you all hear the response from Steve Smith Sr.? You heard that, right? Now, guys, if you were to confront the individual with whom your significant other was having an affair, and they responded just as he responded, how would you react? Guys, would this alter your original intentions? Now, personally, I would answer affirmatively yes, as I believe such an interaction would significantly impact my perspective. Additionally, have you ever noticed that when someone apologizes, get this, guys, it can unexpectedly change your demeanor? Guys, listen, this is precisely the effect that an apology is intended to have. You see, it disarms and diffuses tension. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is as a teachable moment for all of us, particularly because when we are faced with challenging situations, an apology may just get you out of it. All right, moving on. Now, guys, Sharpe, who has previously navigated his own challenges related to social media and, personal misconduct. That's right, Miss Betty. No, I don't know what his name was, but you guys remember this guy was having himself a good time. But he asserts that if this individual is troubled by the purported affair, meaning the husband, he should have addressed the matter privately with his spouse. Now, then he further emphasizes that he says, quote, "Smitty owes you no loyalty." Guys, did you get that? No loyalty. Now, interesting. But what insight can be derived from the perspectives of A, Shannon Sharpe, and B, Chad Ochocinco Johnson regarding this incident with Steve Smith Sr.? Now, let's hear more of that, which the duo of Sharpe and Ochocinco had to say about this alleged affair. Come, maybe Ken, let's roll that clip, please.
Whoa, wait a minute. Now, I told you this before. This is when our earlier shows, when we first started.
Yeah.
Like when you meet somebody, right? And the women in the chat, they can attest to this. Most of the time, the person you with right now is really not who you want to be with. 98% of marriages, the women that are married to certain men, you're not married to the man you really want to be with. You're married to your safe place and the one that made the most sense. Women that have men that have girlfriends right now. Ask your girlfriend who's a dude that left that mark in her life that will always have access to her for the rest of her life, and see if she tell you the truth. Everybody got one. Every woman has one, no matter who it is. Always, they all got one. And if she tell you it isn't, everybody in my life, not one, just
Of
had
course.
that one place in that one spot. Man, please. Whoa,
I'm
whoa,
dealing with
whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. Now, I told you this before. This is when our earlier shows when we first started.
yeah.
Like when you meet somebody, and the women in the chat, they can attest to this. Most of the time, the person you with.
All right, guys. You've heard it. I'm sorry. Listen, you heard it. And sometimes, Ocho is hilarious. And in this clip, he asserts that a significant number of women are not in relationships with their preferred partners. However, I think we need to fact check his claim that 98% of married women are with individuals who were not their first choice, but rather those who made the most logical decision. Now that's a very strong assertion by Ochocinco. But it raises questions about his perspective on marriage, especially considering, guys, his recent engagement, right? Now, is he implying that he was not Sherelle's first choice as well? Or is his comment specifically directed at those who are not in his same position? Now, he also noted that every woman has one man, guys. Get this, guys. Every woman has one man who, of course, is not you. That one man is not you, guys, who has access to her throughout her life. Now, he encourages you to pose this question to your significant other. Now, go ahead. I recommend you do the same. Go ahead. Take a moment. If you are near your significant other, your spouse, your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, boo, whatever you call them, bae, just go ahead and ask them that question. Now, this is important. This is an important caveat from Ocho. Any response that might initially please you is more than likely not the truth. Okay? For instance, now if she claims that her father is that man, she says that my daddy, that's who has that access to me even after we're married. My father has that access. That means she's not being honest, because you could probably accept that. So the only way to ascertain her honesty is if she identifies someone other than you. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? Now, it appears that Chad may have sustained some injuries, in my humble opinion, from his playing days that warrant further investigation. But I digress, because that just sounds ridiculous that 98% of people in relationships, nobody gets the one they want, and 98% of them are just settling for who is more logical. Now, it seems to me that in his perspective, no woman in a relationship is with her true desire. And if one subscribes to this belief, my question to you is, how can you maintain loyalty to any woman if you believe, like Chad does, that you're not the one that she actually wants? Listen, man, you can't make this stuff up. But you know what? I empathize with Chad in this moment, as it appears that he is grappling with unresolved self-esteem issues, even guys following his surgery. Now, you all recall the surgery he mentioned, which he referenced in this clip. Let's roll it.
She got to the point where we were in action, and she said in my ear, "Go deeper. Stay with me now." And what hurt me is I was already all the way in. So I had ran out of pee-pee. And that is what caused me to get into amateur porn, so I could perfect my craft in the pelvic area so I would never have to hear that again. I'm here to share my stories and my shortcomings. Back then, I've had surgery since then. So I'm good.
So what you're trying to say is that who you are now,
Yeah, completely
is
different.
manufactured because it was surgically enhanced.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And And I'm comfortable saying that. And I can tell you that this is something you would never be able to get on TV. That's why we on your show.
Surgical enhancement, we usually hear about females with that stuff.
Right.
Not men.
So why can't we? Why can't we? I want to feel better about myself. I want to be able to walk around the beach in my Speedo without being laughed at.
And you're saying that at one time you were being laughed at until you had surgery.
Do you
and
know
now
what
you're
that
no longer
feels like? Like
I mean, I didn't. I'm not one who needed surgery,
okay,
Chad. I mean, I
so
just
you
did
don't,
it.
you don't
I
understand.
mean,
You don't understand how it feels.
no,
Like,
I
listen,
don't. I don't.
Now listen, I just
How long was the surgery, man?
it took about 15 minutes.
Surgery was 15 minutes.
Yeah, only $8,000.
Excuse me?
Only $8,000. So I went from 3 to 11 inches like this.
So you just gonna tell the world you were 3 inches? I didn't ask you that question. You know,
I know.
You didn't have to say
But
that.
I'm just trying to get better context on where I was to where I am now.
How the hell could that happen in 15 minutes? It got me curious now, and I don't have that problem.
I don't understand.
But how did that happen in 15 minutes?
I don't understand technology. I don't know how that works. I just know from the time I went in, anesthesia, I was asleep, I woke up, looked, wow.
All right, guys, listen. Having viewed the clip, it is clear why Ochocinco reacts to the incident as he does. I mean, even after the BDL, not the BBL, but the BDL, he still reacts the same. Why? Because the disparity between physical stature, as represented by the difference, as he said, from 3 to 11, does not necessarily correspond to a proportional increase in mental or emotional maturity. Did you guys get that? Just because you're physically bigger doesn't mean that you have increased in your emotional or mental maturity. Now, before we view this clip, it is important to highlight Shannon Sharpe's discussion regarding the evolving mentality of women in the modern era compared to those in the past. Now, Shannon suggests that women have increasingly adopted attitudes similar to those traditionally associated with men, particularly concerning relationships and infidelity. Now, the familiar adage that says, "What's good for the goose is good for the gander," encapsulates this notion, indicating that what is deemed acceptable in one context should similarly apply in another. So let's watch.
It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game.
But the mentality has changed, Ocho, because women have adopted a lot of the mentality that a man has.
Man,
You know,
yeah.
men have that mentality. Do boo, do,
Oh,
do,
you do it? I'm gonna do it too. Yeah.
Yep. And sometimes they go get their leg back. They go get your best friend. They go get your work, whatever the case may be. That's your hoo-ha.
Oh no, that ain't my. I know it ain't.
No, I know that's hers.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
think,
yeah, yeah.
oh, you get no, you can't get that. Hey, that follows you. That's on you. That follows you. I can't keep it.
One thing I think one of the things we confuse, especially when we get in relationships, yep, hell, even marriages, like this individual here. We have this feeling or notion that, okay, that's my property. Ownership. You know, even in relationships, once that title comes about, where men continue to crash out about is they feel as if they own that woman and her body and what she's doing with her body parts. At no point ever, no matter how much money you pour into that individual, at no point ever does she belong to you. Ever. I don't care what she say. Even do her horizontal activity, when she tell you this is your, you know what, it still ain't yours. Because at some point it belongs to somebody else.
It's yours right now.
Yeah, at that very
And
moment.
that's all I'm worried about. I don't know where you.
That's it. Oh, hey.
Man, Ocho,
Yeah.
if you spend a lot of time worried about, and remember I told you, like when I went to work and I used to tell I said, I can't worry about you. I said, I can't spend one moment while I'm at work worrying about what you're doing. Because if I do, I got to let you go. I got to let you go. If I got to think about what you're doing, where you are, if you're talking to someone, I got to let you go.
It don't make no sense, huh?
So
don't make-
Smitty put him. I mean, I hate that Smitty got himself in a situation like this, knowing his situation. But Buddy was wrong for this, bro.
All right, guys, listen. Now, having heard the perspectives of both Shannon and Ocho from this clip. I want you to share your thoughts in the chat regarding their assessment. These guys are highly entertaining. Now, as you compose your responses, let's take a moment to review some of the comments that others have shared about this very same clip. All right? This commenter says, y'all are wrong for the Steve Smith segment. How are we at a point in society where you shouldn't be flamed for being with a married woman? I get that's your boy, but I would have just skipped the segment, right? So this commenter had a tip of morality there. Let's listen to the other comment. This commenter says, just because Steve Smith got a little money and he is a colleague of yours doesn't mean he is innocent. He cheated on his wife too. When is people going to start taking accountability for their actions as well? Nobody is innocent except the ones who got cheated on. Steve Smith, stop making us men look, because we are always the one who gets judged the most before the female. Unc and Ocho, shame on yourselves, because for the first time, it's your friend, and y'all different see this from situation from all views. So guys, it kind of gets confusing there. But guys, did you catch that one? So he seems to identify this commentary from Shannon and Ochocinco as being one that favors their friend Steve Smith Sr. only because he's their friend. And they aren't able to see the forest for the trees, the tree being Steve Smith. And this guy seems to then put these type of men, these sports guys, these sports figures, at a different or at odds against the average black man. All right, let's look at another comment. Now, Shannon and Chad are tripping. If Steve Smith knew that woman was married, and then the husband has every right to be mad at him and her and put him on blast. If Steve didn't know, then yeah, be mad at the wife, not Steve. But Shannon and Chad giving some bad advice. Okay, guys, now did you get that one? This guy says, wait a minute. You're only saying that he should be upset with his wife. But if Steve Smith Sr. knew she was married, then he is as guilty as someone involved in this relationship. He was a part of this relationship. But then this commenter said, bad advice. Guys, bad advice. Now, do you agree or disagree with that commenter? Is there a deeper underlying sentiment that warrants exploration? Now, I believe this topic deserves more exploration and discussion, and there has been a prolonged wait for guidance tailored to black men that could help bridge the gap between black men and women in the realm of relationships. We've been waiting for a long time. Why? Because we can no longer afford to engage with those who present misguided advice under the guise of entertainment. Did you get that? Misguided advice. Could it be that the misguided advice offered by these two was not meant to harm the listeners, but rather simply meant to protect their friend, who Shannon refers to as their guy? Now, in their attempt, my humble opinion, to assist Steve Smith Sr., they may have inadvertently provided guidance that could ultimately be detrimental not only to black men, but also to the women that they choose to date. Bruh. Now, that is why it is essential to comprehend the underlying motives, guys, that inform an individual's perspective when engaging in active listening. This is a proponent, a quality of active listening. Now, although we may never fully grasp the reasons behind their stance on this particular incident, it is evident, my friends, that certain statements made were at best disingenuous. Now, let's watch another clip from this conversation on Nightcap, and we'll be right back.
Just by the way he's moving, he ain't going nowhere. Let's start there. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't letting
You
her
don't
go.
think so?
No, hell no. He ain't even that type.
He done got the what you call it. He done got the woman hack the woman account.
Listen, ain't nobody going through all that's leaving. Anybody going through all that's leaving. You're not doing all that if you're leaving, huh? You know what? I'm gonna save myself an embarrassment.
There you go. Just walk away.
I'm gone.
Just walk away. Ain't nobody gonna know. Three people gonna know. Me, her, and the good man upstairs.
That's it. Yeah. Hey, it's a dirty game, huh? And it's been that way for a long time. That's why you got to learn to play it.
Yeah.
You got to learn to play it and bow out with grace.
Yeah, man. He hurt the Ocho. That's hurt. I mean, Ocho. Just
like hurt by yourself, huh? Hurt by yourself. You know how you get over hurt? Get under somebody else. That's how you get over hurt. Get under somebody else. Consistently, you will be fine. And always remember.
But when I told you that, when I said that, you talk about, you ain't gonna heal.
I said that.
You told me I needed to heal.
Oh, this is different circumstances. You wasn't married. Yeah, this is different. Always remember, Chad.
I don't know about you, but I'm consistently astonished simply by the peculiar statements made by Ochocinco. I don't know about you, but I find myself questioning him. And listen, my questions are simply this, because he made mention of how this guy should handle the breakup. My question to him is, did you handle your breakup with your ex-fiance in a similar manner? Did you simply move on with your life? Did you go ahead and choose to block her on social media? Or Chad, Mr. Ochocinco Johnson, did you find yourself frequently checking her profiles? I mean, is this you? Is this you, Chad? Chad, is this you? Guys, listen. Let me say this. Quite often, individuals express hypocritical views regarding certain matters when they affect others. However, their opinions often shift to align with their own interests when they find themselves in similar situations. Did you catch that? It is essential to exercise caution around such individuals and to critically evaluate the advice that they offer. Wouldn't you agree? Now, both Ocho and Shannon consistently demonstrate this character flaw as individuals throughout the duration of this show. Now, let's hear from a few more comments from viewers who watched this episode as well, shall we? This person says, kinda sad hearing them say Smith owes nobody any loyalty. Now, which is true, but they are excusing what he did. Now, as a man, you know this is wrong. What you do mean he owes nobody loyalty. Now, this commenter appears to address the loyalty issue as well. But when they shared, first off, he did all this for court. His divorce argument is basically full proof. He can also sue Steve Smith Sr. depending on the state. Excuse me. Number two, Shannon and Ocho are weird. Does Steve Smith owe him loyalty? No. But there are way too many women on this planet, to be messing with another man's wife. Have respect for other men. Now, guys, get this. This is where I believe Ocho and Shannon give us our first booze clues. As we begin to discern the differing perspectives between celebrity athletes and the average black man. Now, both Ocho and Shannon expressed the sentiment that relationships are relatively easy to exit due to the multiplicity of their available options. They imply that the solution to a breakup, even within the context of marriage, is often to seek solace in another relationship, or better yet, as Ocho said, simply get up under someone else. Now, I suppose that this is exactly what Steve Smith Sr. was doing when he was sending pictures like this to another man's wife. Voila. Did you see this? Did you see this? Dude, come on. And once again, I am struck by the lengths to which Ocho and Shannon went to defend their colleague. Now, I noticed that I'm not alone in this observation, as another viewer also echoed this sentiment in their comment. When they commented, guess what they said? I didn't hear this energy when the M.A. Udoka situation happened. Now, guys, do you all recall the alleged incident involving Ime Udoka and a colleague's wife, particularly during his relationship with the lovely, quintessential Nia Long? Now, I am fully convinced that the level of support received by the NBA coach and former player was not as substantial as that provided to their counterparts in the NFL. Consequently, guys, I believe their support for the average black man may be even more limited. Now, why do I believe this to be true? Well, let's watch the clip from this final clip from Nightcap, as I believe it may just, in fact, it may, guys, prove my point to be true. Let's watch.
And you know what? I think it's funny when you think about the experience. I think that the chat, there's a huge disconnect and not understanding the amount of, all right, how do I say this without getting in trouble? The chat has a huge disconnect where they don't understand the amount of women we've dealt with during those days. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say it. I don't give a fuck who I get in trouble with, especially right now. You don't understand the amount of women I've dealt with during that day. You know, I'm talking about 20, 25 years worth. So I know what it looks like. Mm-hmm. What Buddy going through, I've been on one end of the spectrum and I've been on the other side of the spectrum.
Absolutely.
But I've been number two way more times than I've been number one. So I know the game, I know the tricks, I know the trade, and like at that point, so you become numb to it. As soon as you see any signs, boom, okay, you know what time it is, you lock in and you move accordingly. It's really easy through experience over time. That's why, that for me, I'm just saying for me, that's why it's so easy. I always tell you, that's why I always tell you, I see one thing wrong, boom. It's easy for me to be able to compartmentalize and know what's going on. Hey.
All right, guys. All right. Did you watch? Now, did you hear what was said? Now, one can discern Ocho's arrogance through the manner in which he speaks, suggesting that he perceives his success with women as a marker of superiority over the average black man. Now, he presents himself not only as a superstar athlete, but also as a figure deserving of admiration and reverence. We got to bow down from the average black man. Consequently, his advice to men is rooted in this self-aggrandizing perspective. He believes that he leads a life that many can only inspire or aspire to. He thinks that his qualities are exceptional, that he possesses qualities that the average black man can only pray to receive. Now, the huge disconnect, as he put it, lies in the multitude of women he and his fellow athletes have encountered, experiences that contribute to their legendary status. Now, a few viewers agreed and appeared to agree with this assessment that I had of both Shannon and Chad, when one in particular said, now you guys understand people like Shannon and Chad probably engage/have engaged in affairs with a lot of married women. It's not surprising they're being apologists on this situation. That's what that commenter said. Another commenter shared, now, Ocho is average in giving sports takes, but always got energy to discuss toxic relationships. Yet Rail was married when he messed with her. Not the person to take advice from. an adulterous spirit. Guess this guy is a believer. Now, guys, listen, I must admit that there is a degree of truth to the notion that many superstar athletes engage in enormous amounts of booty clapping sounds. Booty clapping sounds, AB? That's right. Now, do you recall the legendary Wilt Chamberlain, right? Wilt Chamberlain, the Hall of Fame basketball player who claimed to have slept with 20,000 women. 20,000.
Oh my God.
Now, while some men like Shannon and Ocho may view that number as a target to strive for, the average black man, hear me close, guys, regards it with disdain due to our inherent differences in perspective. That's correct. Ladies and gentlemen, we are distinct in our perspectives. Now, I recognize the allure that superstar athletes hold for some women that are seeking relationships. Though, guys, listen, hear me close. This type of woman is relatively limited. Don't believe me? See, I know you guys don't believe me, but I can prove it. I can prove it, and this is how I'm going to prove it. I'm going to ask you a question. How do you explain this phenomenon of the same women dating multiple athletes and in some cases having children with them all? I rest my case. Why? See, the reason that superstar athletes continue to circulate the same women all the time is that the majority of women are not particularly interested in superstar athletes. I'm telling you, they're not for relationships, because they notice the difference. If social media has done anything, it has exposed things that we never knew were true. But if this is true, then consequently, we should be cautious in accepting the advice that they provide, as it is often grounded in their personal experiences, which may not reflect the preferences of the majority of women, but rather a limited subset. Now, how is it, guys, that you're taking advice from a guy who's getting passed around? You know what I'm saying? Pass around. That's nothing to be proud of, bruh. Bro, that's nothing to be proud of. There's nothing to be celebrated. But guys, Ocho said in that segment, I don't know if you heard him, but he said that he has been number 2 more often than he has been number 1. My question is, why is that something to be applauded? Why is it something that one would applaud for being number 2? I mean, really, why would one applaud being number 2? But it seems because he's the number 2, he even looks like number 2. I mean, come on. Nobody considers this an achievement but Chad Ochocinco Johnson, number 2. Now, guys, look, we're just having a bit of fun at Chad Ochocinco's sake. But while both Shannon and Ocho, guys, hear me close, while they both excel in their discussions about sports, and they possess remarkable talent for narrating their entertaining career experiences, it is important to recognize that their perspectives on relationships stem from fundamentally different realities. Now, much of their relationship advice is heavily influenced by their wealth, which affords them various options, and their fame, which enables them to attract a specific subset of women. However, it appears that through the influence of social media, many women are increasingly drawn to the average black man, someone who may earn millions but lacks the celebrity status of superstar athletes. And see, when I say that an average black man, I'm not saying average by no means in terms of the ability to obtain wealth. the ability to have a level of success. But what I'm saying is the difference is the fact they don't have the sense of celebrity that goes along with it. Now, I understand that many of you may perceive my comments about these individuals as stemming from jealousy or hate, some kind of hate over their fame and fortune. Now, you might even be correct in thinking that if and only if I were a young person yet to achieve anything noteworthy. However, allow me to share a perspective from someone who has traveled extensively and who has lived a life that many would envy. Now, guys, you may have assumed I was referring to myself, but in fact, I am speaking of my friend Grogu. That's right, Grogu, he has a significant influence and impact in our community. AB, can you please give my friend Grogu a round of applause? Let's give him a round. Let's give my, yes. All right. Listen, guys, listen, in all seriousness, I was having a bit of fun there, but in all seriousness, a person with genuine confidence is one who finds satisfaction in what life has offered. Lastly, you may be wondering why I am specifically addressing Shannon and Ocho. And the reason is, guys, let me tell you all a story. Storytime music, AB. Guys, it was a crisp evening in Atlanta when Jamal, let's call him Jamal tonight, sat in the barbershop scrolling through his phone, and a headline caught his eye. NBA star Jason the Phenom Carter shares his rules for dating success. Curious, he tapped the video and he listened as the charismatic multimillionaire athlete leaned back in his designer suit, flashing a gold Rolex. Listen, fellas, Jason began. The key to dating as a black man is options. Women want a man who's already winning. Status, money, looks, and confidence. If you don't got that, you're invisible. That's just the game, he smirked. You gotta build your empire first. Women chase success, not potential. And let's be real, why settle down when the world is yours? Now, guys, Jamal, after hearing that, shook his head, exhaling deeply. You know, he wasn't some 6'5" basketball star. He was a regular dude working a solid but unflashy IT job, hitting the gym, and doing his best to navigate love in the modern world. Yo, what you watching? His barber, Big Rob, glanced at the screen while lining up Jamal's fade. He said Jason Carter talking about dating, basically saying you gotta be rich to have options. Now, Big Rob chuckled, shaking his head. Man, listen, that's his reality, not ours. But let me tell you something. An average black man can win too. It just takes a different formula. Now, Jamal raised an eyebrow. Oh yeah? What's the formula? Now, Big Rob spun his chair around and pointed the clippers like a professor with a chalkboard. Three things, he said. Confidence being one. Character being two. And consistency. Did you get that? Confidence, Jamal asked. Women don't just look for money, bro. They want a man who moves like he's valuable no matter what's in his bank account. Walk in a room like you belong there. Speak with purpose, keeping yourself sharp. A confident man without millions can still pull a queen. Now, Jamal nodded. Okay, but what about character? See, money might attract her, but character keeps her. How you treat people, how you handle stress, your ambition, these matter. A woman will respect a man who stands for something. You ain't gotta be a baller, but you better have a backbone. And then consistency, Big Rob smirked. Consistency is where most dudes fail. It ain't about being perfect. It's about showing up every day as the man you say you are. If you want to build something real, you gotta be reliable. Now, whether it's dating, career, or life, Jamal sat back thinking. So you're saying an average man can compete? Big Rob laughed. Compete? Bruh, we win in a different way. Now, Jason Carter plays the game of options, but average men, we build something real. The choice. All right, guys. So back to my story. So it was about showing up as your best self. This is what he realized. And maybe, just maybe, that was the real key to the game. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story, I think AB is making a mixtape in my ear. The moral of the story is that success in dating and in life is not just about wealth or status. Now, while celebrities like Jason Carter may have access to endless options due to fame and money, regular and average black men can still win by focusing on three things. Again, guys, hear me close. Confidence, character, and consistency. Now, true success comes from being reliable and standing on your own principles. It's not about chasing validation, but about building something real and showing up as your best self every day. Guys, did you get that? So while Shannon and Chad experienced the fame and the fortune, and maybe they're winning, I want you to know you too can win, even if you are an average black man. All right? All right, family, listen, we have now come to the end of the show. And guys, I appreciate you for continuing to rock with HeSpoke Fashion. I really enjoyed you all, and I hope that you have enjoyed this show as well. Now, if you like this content, please do me a favor, hit the like button and share this with someone else. That's all I have for you tonight. Please have a good night, good fashion, and remember, HeSpoke Fashion to you. See you next time. Hope you'll be back to join us. All right? That's my prayer. Good night. Yeah! Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching. Please take time to follow us on Facebook, and if you really like this episode, what do you think? Leave your questions and comments, and remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I really appreciate you all for watching.